The Portugal story is getting more and more media coverage. Is it real? I don't know. I've not heard anything from Harry and Meghan themselves. But before we jump into this news headline, you know the score. Comments are open. Would love your opinion. So if you didn't know, there's been rumours, and the Daily Mail are the main ones pushing the rumours, that Harry and Meghan have bought a holiday home in Portugal. And let's be honest, who wouldn't blame them? Portugal has culture, brilliant food, brilliant weather, low taxation, and a high standard of living. Quite like California and very different from the UK. Who would blame them for choosing a place in mainland Europe like Portugal that offers all those things I've mentioned and more? It is not, in my opinion, any way to be closer to the British working taxpayer-funded royal family. Meghan and Harry have been very clear that they do not want to be brought back into that show at any cost. Having a base in Western Europe on the mainland will enable Meghan and Harry to do more of the good things that they like doing on a regular basis. Show up, do good. End of story. That's how big the story is. Comments are open. Have a brilliant Tuesday. Let me know what you think. Well, we haven't had anything nice to look at behind me for about a week now, so the Daily Mail have done us all a favour, putting together this lovely montage of the very beautiful and very glamorous Meghan. And for me, this is a bonus, and for you as well, because it takes your focus away from my face, which is a face for radio. As usual, comments are open. Would love your opinion. So the Daily Mail seem to want to have an inquest about why Meghan moved away from a kind of princess look to a bombshell look. And I think I've got the answer. She's moved away from one look to multiple looks because she pays her own bills, can buy what she wants. People lend her clothes because she's a media starlet. She's a woman with a free mind, and she lives in a country labelled the land of the free. It's as simple as those 6 things. She's a grown-ass woman who looks brilliant and can do whatever she likes. She's no longer a taxpayer-funded working royal. There's no rule book to follow. There's no whispers in corridors from advisors and courtiers telling her what to do and what not to do. She's living a life in the sunshine with money and freedom. And good luck to her. Let me know what you think. Comments are open. Have a brilliant day.
I had lunch with Harry and William's then press secretary. And in the story I wrote, I said as a line, you know, that Harry and William had fallen out and that was one of the reasons they were moving. And then a lot of the focus was on Kate and Meghan, which was rubbish, frankly, because actually the falling out wasn't between Kate and Meghan, although perhaps that's more sexy for the girls to be, you know, cat fighting, bitch fighting. Kate and Meghan, I think, were kind of trying to support their husbands. And then a couple of weeks later, I wrote a big article about bad blood brothers. Our amazing subs at The Sun came up with that headline. And I wrote about William and Harry falling out and their rift. And that, before that was that, we printed that on the Saturday. And that week, I went out for lunch with Harry and William's press secretary, and I said to him, I was going to write this, I put everything to him. I said that how William, in a sort of fraternal way, had tried to say to Harry, he didn't say, don't marry her. He'd said, are you sure things are moving so quickly? It's really difficult marrying into the royal family. Don't go too quickly. You know, William's a lot more cautious than Harry. They'd fallen out over money. They'd fallen out over positions. Harry had been given these plum positions in the Commonwealth, Queen's Commonwealth Trust by the Queen. William hadn't. But of course, William's going to be king. He doesn't need to be, but he didn't see it like that. So they'd fallen out over money. They'd fallen out over positions. They'd fallen out over a girl.
Happy Sunday. Stay tuned for some scandal. No, I'm not going to go where you think I'm going to go with this article. Prince William has just completed the filming of a documentary about homelessness. Scandal 1. The documentary started filming in June 2023, well before any of Kate's issues. He's only just completed it. This tells you really how lazy this fella is. Scandal 2. He's named some places where he wants to focus on homelessness. And guess what? None of them include Cornwall, where William is the biggest landlord and the biggest landowner. The Duchy of Cornwall. He doesn't want to solve homelessness in the area where his massive commercial business that makes him a billionaire exists. He wants to try and solve homelessness in other places. And if that's not absolutely scandalous and tells you the real story about what William's trying to do here and failing miserably, I don't know what is. Thirdly, in the documentary, he admits it's taken him some time to work out what to do with his life. This guy drives me mad. He's freaking 42 and he's only just found something valuable to do. I just do not get why the British taxpayers accept the working taxpayer-funded royal family anymore. He clearly doesn't want to end homelessness. This Harry thing, this olive branch to Harry, is just a smokescreen so people don't question why he isn't driving change through his own billionaire organisation. It winds me off the clock. Comments are open, guys. Let me know what you think. Well, we called it, didn't we? Yawn. It's almost so predictable. When Harry was voted one of the hottest men ever by Vanity Fair magazine, my comments were filled, thank you followers, with quite legitimate observations that have now come true. Everyone was literally saying, wait for the Daily Mail, the gift that keeps on giving, to sprout out some BS about William. And it was dropped yesterday. The secrets of Prince William's rugged rebrand. He's got a beard and he wears white trainers. I don't think there's any secrets there. How he went from a balding middle-aged dad to a hot heir to the throne. Thanks to new trainers and that stubble. You know, this sycophantic lauding by the press where Kate and William are glamorised for doing either nothing, wearing something, or looking at something and shaking hands. It has to stop. It's not helpful for the rest of humanity and society. Giving fake praise a la the Emperor's New Clothes, if you don't know the story, look it up, is not helping anyone. It makes other people feel weak and insignificant, and it certainly doesn't help the British working taxpayer-funded royal family get their together. Comments are open. Happy Sunday. Have a brilliant one. Try not to fall asleep when you read this article. Look at the difference in the hair. Maybe I shouldn't position myself directly under William like this. By the way, I'm 11 years older than he is. I seem to have more hair, but he definitely has more money than me, so he's winning on that front. Before we jump into this one, you know the score. Comments are open. Would love your opinion. So the general public are absolutely convinced that there's something going on between the marriage of William and Kate. And stories like this, to me, in my humble opinion, seem to back those theories up. Why are they alone so much? Charles is back on the scene. He's having cancer treatment. Kate has released a statement and a gushing video saying she's coming out the other side of it. Why doesn't Kate want to support William in this major event? Sorry, I had to get the terminology right. I'm not sure the event will be major, but that's not the question. Why is Kate not at his side? We've had the rumours about her doing her own thing at Christmas, and now these stories are all over GB News and other media outlets today. Let me know what you think. Have a brilliant day if you're back at work like I am. You know the problem with deadlines and ultimatums, right? You have to be prepared to enforce the ultimatum if someone breaks the deadline. And I think this is exactly what's going to happen between Charles and Andrew. If you didn't know, Andrew has the choice of losing his royal protection, because that costs extra money, or moving to a property that's already covered by royal protection. And the deadline, actually, I believe, is tomorrow, the day before Halloween, probably appropriate for Andrew, the 30th, Wednesday the 30th of October. What is going to happen here? I actually believe this is a complete smokescreen. I believe Charles is giving the public the impression that he is dealing with Andrew's sins of the past by enforcing harsh punishments on him. This is part of the punishment. I don't think Charles will go through with it. I actually think Andrew's got so much dirt on the whole of the rest of the royal family, which is incredible, really, in view of the dirt that's been flung at him as an individual. I think this guy's got so much dirt, he's basically completely bulletproof. He will be in that house for the rest of his life, complete with royal protection, and he won't have to spend a penny. Comments are open. Happy Tuesday. Let me know what you think. Has William set himself up for yet another fall on this one? I think he has, and let me tell you why. For decades, at least the last 3 decades, the world's top governments have employed the world's top people to write paper after paper on this subject. They were tasked with putting a framework together to end homelessness and cover everything we would need to do as a country, from education and training, rights to fair treatment, employment, the Criminal Justice Act, the financial shame, the housing economy, access to cheap finance. I mean, these papers were absolutely detailed and covered all the moving parts that you would need to address to solve homelessness. And now William is setting himself up as someone that can do something different, ignoring the research that's been done before, when he is himself in a unique position of power, entitlement and unlimited resources. I just don't think it's good. If this subject had never been tackled before, it was something brand new and he had a unique insight, we could all listen to him. But the fact is, he doesn't have a unique insight. He's never experienced homelessness himself. And experts that are more highly qualified than he has have already done the work to tell us what we need to do. The comments, finally, in the Observer, Digital Edition and the Daily Mail, from general tax-paying members of the public all over the world, really do show how laughable this is. And William's own statement on this ITV documentary was that if he had to listen to every single critic or respond to every single critic, he'd never get any work done. Well, that just shows you the number of people that are open to criticise him. Daily Mail, 22,000 comments, I would say, just from quick maths. 2/3 of them negative. Similar in the Observer. Comments are open. Let me know what you think. Have a brilliant Tuesday. Well, it's been a busy 24 hours for the digital media outlets covering the royal family, British working taxpayer-funded royal family, sorry. I think I've got 4 stories just to drop on TikTok this morning. Let's kick off with this gem published by Cosmopolitan. So Prince William, a good example of his pettiness and jealousy, by the way, is going to snub any Christmas royal events if Tom Parker Bowles is there. Tom Parker Bowles is Camilla's son, William's stepbrother. Tom Parker Bowles is an award-winning food critic and cookery book writer. His latest cookery book trades shamelessly on his mother's new position as Queen, because he's called it Cooking and the Crown. And because he called it Cooking and the Crown, media were all over him. Let's interview Tom about his new book. Let's try and get some snippets about behind-the-scene royal life. You can imagine what happened. Anyway, to get to the point, comments are open as ever. Would love to know your opinion. But what is going on here? Is it Camilla, the cuckoo, who has snuck into a position as Queen and is inviting quite a large number of her relatives and family, including her children, to significant taxpayer-funded royal celebrations at Christmas that has put William's nose out of joint? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Have a brilliant day. Whether you're a British taxpayer or not, you need to watch out for this one and stay tuned to the output, because quite frankly, this could be the start of the avalanche for the British working taxpayer-funded royal family, which seriously debilitates them in multiple ways. On Saturday, Channel 4 and their dispatches team are airing a programme entitled The King, the Prince and Their Secret Millions. If you didn't know about the dispatches team, it's a team of famed journalists who are praised for their investigative qualities and their determination to get to the truth. Now, a lot of programmes like this are hyped up by the media deliberately to increase the viewing figures, which also increases advertising revenue. But these guys are saying they are going to release documents never seen by the public before, which explain who is paying them, what they do for it, and why they're being paid. This could literally blow the lid of many, many secrets that the royal family want to keep under a bushel, literally, so the British taxpaying public don't understand how they operate. I'm going to be out on Saturday. I'm definitely going to watch this on Catch Up on Sunday. I think it's going to be a cracker. Comments are open. Let me know what you think. Whether you're a British taxpayer or not, you need to watch out for this one and stay tuned to the output, because quite frankly, this could be the start of the avalanche for the British working taxpayer-funded royal family, which seriously debilitates them in multiple ways. On Saturday, Channel 4 and their dispatches team are airing a programme entitled The King, the Prince and Their Secret Millions. If you didn't know about the dispatches team, it's a team of famed journalists who are praised for their investigative qualities and their determination to get to the truth. Now, a lot of programmes like this are hyped up by the media deliberately to increase the viewing figures, which also increases advertising revenue. But these guys are saying they are going to release documents never seen by the public before, which explain who is paying them, what they do for it, and why they're being paid. This could literally blow the lid off many, many secrets that the royal family want to keep under a bushel, literally, so the British taxpaying public don't understand how they operate. I'm going to be out on Saturday. I'm definitely going to watch this on Catch Up on Sunday. I think it's going to be a cracker. Comments are open. Let me know what you think. This grinds my gears, it really does. The way that the press and digital media use words and phrases like a full programme of overseas tours, a packed schedule, a busy week of events. We've got to stop the press lording over the working taxpayer-funded royal family with statements like this when, wait for it, in 2023, Charles did 64 days work. Now, don't get me wrong. I have not got a problem with anyone that's in a fortunate position and can get away with doing 64 days work, 3 months work out of 12 months, as long as everybody else, particularly the taxpayers in Britain, can do exactly the same. And the average British taxpayer, who will be even more hard-pressed today, because if you didn't know, world, we have a budget today in the UK, and guess who's going to be funding everything to a higher degree from now on? People like me. If everyone had the same opportunity, I wouldn't have a problem with this lazy lot. If we could all have the opportunity to relax and live more than we work, i.e. live more days and relax more days than working days, I wouldn't have a problem with any of this. Unfortunately, we've got millions of families growing up in poverty, and those families haven't had any form of holiday for years, believe me. Until the playing field's level, I will continue to highlight the hypocrisy of the press saying these guys work hard when they don't. Comments are open. Would love your opinion. Have a brilliant day. This grinds my gears. It really does. The way that the press and digital media use words and phrases like a full programme of overseas tours, a packed schedule, a busy week of events. We've got to stop the press lording over the working taxpayer-funded royal family with statements like this when, wait for it, in 2023, Charles did 64 days work. Now, don't get me wrong. I have not got a problem with anyone that's in a fortunate position and can get away with doing 64 days work, 3 months work out of 12 months, as long as everybody else, particularly the taxpayers in Britain, can do exactly the same. And the average British taxpayer, who will be even more hard-pressed today, because if you didn't know, world, we have a budget today in the UK, and guess who's going to be funding everything to a higher degree from now on? People like me. If everyone had the same opportunity, I wouldn't have a problem with this lazy lot. If we could all have the opportunity to relax and live more than we work, i.e. live more days and relax more days than working days, I wouldn't have a problem with any of this. Unfortunately, we've got millions of families growing up in poverty, and those families haven't had any form of holiday for years, believe me. Until the playing field's level, I will continue to highlight the hypocrisy of the press saying these guys work hard when they don't. Comments are open. Would love your opinion. Have a brilliant day.
Frogmore Cottage is back in the news. Let's talk about it. Exclusive. Harry and Meghan buy a holiday home in Europe after Charles asked them to give up their British-based Frogmore Cottage. What? He asked them? Interesting retelling of history, because from what I remember, headlines were gloating about King Charles cracking the whip on his spoiled brat of a younger son and ungrateful biracial woman who married into the British royal family and should have been more bowled over by that, coming from the mean streets of Compton. I want to be clear, Richard Eden did not write this headline. This is written by an editor. There's people looking at it for SEO. There's a lot of things that go into a headline. But it's real funny here because it says, ask them right here. And the first sentence then says, when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were evicted from their cottage. I am not an English major, but I am here to tell you that asked them and evicted are not the same thing. They're not synonyms. Swaths of the British media and royal reporters were gloating, frothing at the mouth over the fact that Harry's getting what's coming to him, kicking him off a property that could actually allow him and his family actual protection, since they weren't going to get the same level of protection from the UK Home Services. That's a weird thing to be excited about. But to a lot of people, especially outside the bubble, it just felt petty and cruel. To make matters worse, the idea was also to kick Prince Andrew out of the Royal Lodge, which allegedly William and Kate have had their eye on. People will bring up that Princess Anne encouraged Charles to kick Harry and Meghan out. And that summary leaves some stuff out. The reporting that I've seen is that she thought that non-working royals like Prince Harry, Prince Andrew should no longer be living in basically subsidized housing. At least in the case of Prince Andrew, who's paying it's some ridiculously low number for squatting in the Royal Lodge. Andrew hasn't moved out. They haven't cracked the whip on Andrew the same way they told Harry and Meghan to get your shit and get out. I think sometimes the British royal family and the British media forget that there's an entire media system outside of the UK that has a different lens to looking at these things. And a father telling his son and his daughter-in-law and his grandchildren that they don't have a safe permanent base in the UK, it's cruel. It's cruel. Anyway, I find this headline interesting because it seems like perhaps they realize that the framing of Charles kicking his son out while Prince Andrew still squats in the Royal Lodge isn't a great look. Depending on how things go, I would not be surprised if over time we continue to receive a sanding down of history where it becomes, Charles didn't want to evict them. That's a misunderstanding. That's not what happened. I wouldn't be surprised. So watch this space. Cannot find the comment, but someone on here asked me to talk about the royal tour that Charles and Camilla are on right now. I'm going to talk about it eventually, the media coverage, let's be clear. But I want to talk about just royal tours in general, specifically Australia. So far with Charles's tour, there's a lot of reporting about this. What? That was 6 years ago, you weirdos. This is a beautiful example of SEO. How do we bring people in to read more about the current Australia tour? Let's bring up Meghan Markle and bring up some shiz that may or may not be true, probably isn't true, or at least is twisted to be inevitably negative, because people genuinely aren't that excited about Charles and Camilla in Australia. And one of the reasons is their lack of willingness to engage in the conversations that Australians want to have. Australia has been rife because it tends to be a place where somebody performs exceptionally well for the British royal family, but it's not the right person. Recall, it's supposed to be the crown above all else. But very rarely do they operate as a family with that one common goal. I think it's a huge blunder and not changing with the times, because Harry and Meghan's tour was great. Exciting to see a woman of color representing the British royal family. It felt like a time of change, something new coming, and that Harry and Meghan would be such great spokespeople in the Commonwealth countries. But this isn't William and Kate. This wasn't Charles and Camilla. This was the Spare and his wife. The Spare and his wife are not supposed to look better than the person born for the throne. The person that by blood and by birth order is entitled to lead the monarchy. It is so short-sighted to not use periphery members of the royal family and their talents, and instead relying on this idea that one individual can be all the things. But instead of breaking the cycle that saw your father's private secretary leaking on you and your younger brother, no, instead you decided to fall in line, create your own deals with the British media, satiate their need for negative coverage by handing over your brother and his wife so that the coverage of you remains positive. And if they dare step out of line, your lawyers will be calling despite the whole never complain, never explain. Cool. Harry and Meghan are not the first people to find out that having success on tour is not a good thing if you're not the right person. This was also the case with Charles and Diana in the early 80s. They were newlyweds. They went to Australia and people loved Diana. She was bright and young and beautiful and willing to shake hands and really meet people where they were at. So they would go and meet people on either side of the barriers, and people would audibly groan when they got stuck with Charles. That must have been weird for Diana, because despite being of aristocratic birth, she was Lady Diana Spencer, being aristocratic and being in the monarchy are two very different things, and she did not get training for how to do this. So then she's doing the job seemingly well, but finds out there's a way to do this job too well, and now that's not okay. Even when you are married to the future king, attention on you is still taking away from him. It's been decades. Still, their only answer to someone else being successful on tour is to turn on them and to find reason why that's bad. Here we are. Not sure if that was a great long-term plan. Here's where there's a bit of a misunderstanding. I didn't say that the royal family sent them to fail. They're not supposed to perform that well, though. They're not supposed to take attention away from Charles, Camilla, William, Kate, then Queen Elizabeth. They're supposed to do these tours kind of like Edward and Sophie, no disrespect. They do the tours, they do what they're supposed to do with very little fanfare. They're not competition for front page news, for stories, or any of that. And that's why I brought up the examples of Charles and Diana, because when Diana went with her husband, the future king, to Australia, even she found out that you can do too well in your role as the spouse, as the person who is married in to the royal family. Even you, even though you're part of a couple, even you are competition. The royal family didn't send them to fail. They just weren't supposed to do as well and be as popular as they were. Could King Charles's visit to Australia be labeled a success? Well, it depends on the media that you're reading. We're going to take a look at a little what the papers in the States are saying versus the UK media. To be clear, American media got her problems, okay? I am not here to say that American media is thriving right now. Have you seen our political coverage? The Daily Mail says, royal couple tickled by warmth of Oz welcome. The first name listed there is the domestic Royal Rota captain, and allegedly kind of a pet to Queen Camilla. Time and time again, she rarely writes a critical word of Camilla, including the Queen's 3,000-pound spa break before tour starts. And it's framed as her enjoying a week-long holistic holiday in India. Okay, time to play everyone's favorite game. How would this have been framed if it was Meghan Markle? Meghan ditches Harry before important royal tour to spend thousands of pounds at a spa. Isn't it interesting, too, how the holistic practices of Charles and Camilla are framed, and the crunchy, psycho, out-of-touch Montecito norms? I'm not saying that there weren't people extremely excited to have the king and queen in town, but some of this does kind of feel like lying about crowd size to make someone feel better. Here's the Washington Post. For Charles's first visit as king, Australians are royally unimpressed. Talks about how even a lot of state leaders are staying home and that this will probably be a mellower affair in the midst of a really interesting, important conversation that Australia is having about what the future of their government looks like and how there would be people on both sides of this argument using this visit as a chance to drum up whatever side they fall on. The Washington Post does have follow-up articles about Charles and Camilla greeting school children and his plans for his visit to Samoa, which include climate change conversations and apparently dance. And I know everybody in the firm is just hoping Camilla doesn't make a face. And I know that there are people saying, how can you compare a Washington Post article to the Daily Mail? That's a tabloid. Of course, it's going to read more sensational, less straightforward. Do not pose questions to myself that I do not already have the answer for. Here's the Telegraph in regards to an incident that happened yesterday. King should be cheered by Australian outrage at heckler, that it had Australians everywhere rolling their eyes. What a claim! Spoke to everyone in Australia? It was all going so well. The King and Queen's visit to Australia had begun with cheering crowds and waving flags. Talk about republicanism had all but fizzled out. Is this reporting, or are you writing a fantasy novel in your spare time like the guidance counselor in 10 Things I Hate About You? Now here's an American paper. You are not my king. Indigenous Australian senator yells at visiting King Charles. Notice the pictures that they use. Check out the picture here and how they don't even say, by the way, this was a senator, an Indigenous Australian. Also important to note, it's in the Los Angeles Times, but it comes from the Associated Press. Associated Press is a wire. This provides factual reporting that they can put into an article and publish. This is not coming from a royal editor or a staff member. This is coming from the Associated Press. It mentions that among the things that she yelled, "This is not your land, you are not my king," she wants a treaty. Quote from the Associated Press: "No treaty was ever struck between British colonizers and Australia's Indigenous peoples." In this piece, only the most inflammatory parts of the senator's protest are put in here. No talk of the treaty. It says that the speaker is an independent senator, an Aboriginal Republican with a long history of protest. You know protest is a dirty word in this context.
Hello, my people. Lady Rose here. How y'all doing? To all my new subscribers, you're welcome. And my returning subscribers, y'all know I love you. Guys, I am so cold. It's getting cold down here. It's not really down. We're in Colorado. Yeah, we're in Colorado. Y'all know the Rockies. It's really cold. It gets really cold in Colorado. Yeah, I believe you guys have watched some videos of mine with snow everywhere. You know that snow everywhere is going to start in a few more days around here. So y'all guys jacket yourselves up. Yeah, we're not playing. Yeah, I got this warm jacket. It feels like a house. Okay, that's my little house. Yeah, it's a faux fur, y'all. I ain't killing no animals like Donald Trump's children, okay? Yeah, I don't like people killing animals. I love animals. Yes. So, guys, did you all see what Meredith said? You heard what she said, right? She's very right. That coverage, if it was about Meghan Markle, oh my goodness, it'd be something else. But guess what? They have to include Meghan in their articles. Otherwise, nobody's going to read it. Yeah, they have to include her in their videos because otherwise nobody's going to click on them. Because guess what? These people are boring bunch of people. These are Honest, that one, the home record, and all those Charlie Boy and all those Make Mambos and all those bullying. All them people are boring. Yeah. The coverage for them, in order for that the ruler of that place there, in order for him to get media coverage, they have to include his daughter-in-law, who is a black woman. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I just can't wait for this monarchy to be over with everything. Somebody please put an end to that thing. You know? I mean, oh my goodness. You know who calls that home record honest? It's one of y'all guys who taught me. Y'all be coming up with lots of words. You know, another one is cookies and creams. Cookies and cream. So did y'all guys hear this thing about the honest child? Thomas Parker Balls. Tom. Apparently him and Bullion don't get along. I never knew that. Oh my goodness, it's so heavy in my mouth to call that guy Prince Harry's stepbrother. Woo! Gosh, did I just finish those two words? Stepbrother. So apparently, Bullion stated he is now gonna go to their Christmas traditional Christmas celebration if Hahones' child comes to that place there. What's going on, guys? What did y'all guys hear? Drop down in the comment here, because you know sometimes you guys be educating me about this family. This family is upside down. This is the most dysfunctional family there is in the UK. You know? Oh my goodness. I knew this family was a mess, but I never knew that those stepsons never liked each other. Why? What's the matter? Are they fighting over the Hornets? Because you know, the Hornets is Bulliam's real mother. His real mother ain't no Diana. No. His real mother is her Hornets. He actually sits with that lady together to cook everything about Meghan Markle. And he's a little brother. Are they fighting over the mother, or what's the problem? Because sometimes I do see that Tom guy. Yeah, I don't even want him to even be called Tommy. You guys know Thomas is my dad's name. You can't be mixing my dad's name with this kind of honest son. It just kind of it's aching my spirit. I ain't gonna call him Thomas. I'm not gonna call him Tom. No. Hahones' son, that the cookbook, the chef, is he a chef? What's the matter? What kind of conflict? So, what kind of conflict there is between these two? What's going on? Y'all please spill the tea. Drop the comment down here. You know I'll be reading all those comments. I'll be laughing so hard. I love y'all guys so much. Please tell me what's going on between these two step brothers. Yeah, what's going on between them? Why don't they like each other? But for sure, the homewrecker likes both of them, I guess. Because the homewrecker gotta have good relationship with Bulliam. Because apparently they're saying Bulliam's gonna be king, but I really can't feel that in my spirit. In my spirit, that dude ain't gonna become king. Something's gonna come up. We here. We're right here. That dude is just a few years older than I am. So we just from the same generation. I'm watching. He ain't becoming no king. And did you all guys hear what this guy came up with? He want to teach people how to not become homeless. And the guy got lands. The Duchy of Cornwall. He got lots of policies. I heard lots of lands belong to them people. Down there in the UK, lots of lands belong to them. How come he can't cut some kind of acres and put them down there and build low-income houses in them? I told y'all guys how the president Jimmy Carter works with the Habitats for Humanity. They work and develop some land and build homes for low-income people. Income-based homes. And you telling me this guy here bully him with everything he's got. All those lands, all those palaces. He has to make a documentary. And you know why he's making that documentary? Because he want to be like a prince, our brother-in-law. He want to become like him. He want to be out there on your TV screen. But his mission is uncalled for. Who want to hear from a billionaire? Guess the billionaire who was born with the silver spoon in his mouth. Literally, silver spoon in his mouth. A prince. Did you hear me well? A prince. By birth. Whose grandmother was the Queen of England. The United Kingdom. Is going to come to tell a single mother with one job getting paid minimum wage. I don't know how much is you guys minimum wage is down there in the UK. Ours is $15 an hour. So that's like about 12 pounds of you guys' money. You telling me that person who cannot even afford to put warm, hot meal on the table for her or his children can afford to pay for an apartment, 4 bedroom for 7 kids, ends up on the streets or ends up to these people, to the human services office, looking for money or looking for the human services department to give them a home, is going to take advice from a prince who's going to be a future king, supposedly. You're not going to be a king. Something will happen to you. Keep those Ruski standard going. Keep the Ruski standard. Keep the bottles up, brother. Keep them up. Yeah, we're seeing your face. I ain't gonna say much. I know you understood what I meant. Ruski standard. That's some drinks that people drink down there in Russia. Google it. Bad news. It makes people look like bullying. So this person who has all those privileges is gonna tell my brother who's suffering, freezing out there, sleeping on concrete, on the boxes under the bridges, this billionaire is going to tell them how they can stay out of homelessness. What they can do to not become homeless. This guy sure has no shame. You know, when you sit down there and worship the devil, this is how you're going to start acting out in public. Everybody's going to, anything coming out of your mouth is going to be confusing. That's the confusion coming from you, the person that you worship, your God, the Lucifer, the devil. You ain't got no Holy Spirit. You ain't got no Jesus. I mean, this kid has no empathy. You literally gonna sit down there telling some poor person who is living on a minimum wage has no food. You gonna tell them, you gonna teach them your techniques how to stay out of homelessness. A billionaire inherited everything, got everything from great grandma, got everything from grandma, got everything from daddy, and got everything from his dead mother. For free. He's gonna come sit down there, tell us how we can stay out of homelessness. The people, the poor people on the streets. The people with no education, no jobs, with lots of children. Guys, please make it make sense right here. Make it make sense. It's so sad though. It's very sad. For some reason, the devil just takes shame away from his little children. These people are devil's children. They got no Holy Spirit. So when is that documentary gonna come out? Y'all drop it on Twitter. I'm gonna check it from there. I don't really need to do much with those kind of documentaries. When I see it, I'm gonna come here and tell y'all guys about it. Guys, these tabloids, they really don't have lots of stuff to even say about this bullying. What they have to tell y'all guys right now is they have to talk about how he dressed up, because they saw the list that came out with the Prince Harry scoring among some hottest fellas out there, with everything that he does out here for the people, to support people, to support others. He got himself on a list of great men. But guess what? These filthy people had to come up with some stuff. I'm sure y'all saw what the Ministry of Hacks spoke about. Y'all go to support the brother on TikTok. Ministry of Hacks. God bless you, brother. We appreciate everything that you do. And also Meredith is on there. Y'all guys go support Meredith. Yeah, she got lots of juicy royal news on there as well. And she comes out here to also expose this double standard. I'm glad we have some support from white sisters and white brothers with good heart. The brothers and sisters who hate injustice. The brothers and sisters who have a Holy Spirit on them. They don't look at your color to support you or to be your brother or your sister. God bless you all, guys. The White Squad members. We appreciate you down here. One love. Thanks for all you do. support Harry and Meghan. Let's keep the truth coming up out here, exposing all those devils. So according to tabloids, Meghan left the princess way of dressing and went back into a nobody's style. Meghan was stylish. When is that suits gonna come on these people's BBC? You guys are obsessed about the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. You guys are so miserable, bunch of miserable people. You guys need to go watch that girl in movies. That girl knows how to put pieces of clothing and purses together, and shoes combined, and jackets. She knows how to put those ones together. She did not need to be no damn princess to put all those together. She was not like a make mambo's wearing tablecloth, for God's sake. She was not wearing tablecloth. Have you guys seen her wearing the fishnets like a make mambo's? If you saw her wearing any fishnets or stuff like that, she was probably in some kind of sensual movie roles on her suits or any other movies that she starred in. She did not start dressing up just while she became the Princess of England. She was dressing up before that. I mean, this is a girl from California. That girl was born and raised in California. Do you know what California is? Google. That's Hollywood. That's what you guys are obsessed by. The Hollywood. That's where all you actors from England do come and move to. So they could also become stars, like everyone that you guys are obsessed with and becoming fans of out here. She was born there. And her daddy was also working in Hollywood. She started acting since she was little. She knows how to dress herself up. She ain't no one of y'all guys. She doesn't dress up like somebody who just jumped out of book of Shakespeare. She is Meghan Markle, a Hollywood star, movie star. You guys, I feel so sorry for y'all guys, dumb, stupid people. And this little video here about the Peter Prince. I don't know how these people really function. I'm literally really confused. You know, back in the day when I was little, I used to think those monarchy people never acted a little bit like this Charlie boy is acting, and or his brother, the Peter Prince. Why are they coming continuously to tell people about their house or their security, what's happening there? I mean, this guy, this Charlie boy, kicked out his son, his grandbaby, and his daughter-in-law out of the home, took their security, ordered the people of Canada to take the security, the government, to take that security from them. And this pedo guy who violated little people with Epstein, it's still being taken care of by this guy, this dude, Charlie boy. He's financing everything for that dude. He took that security from his own child and left the pedo with security. And right now he's coming out to the public and telling us that he want to take that security from him. What do we have to do? What the UK public have to do with that news? Is that what is paying their bills? Are you trying to kick your brother out and take the homeless and put them in those 30-bedroom house? The lodge? Why is that even the news? Why is it out here? I don't think that public is really even interested to knowing what you guys do down there. You know you can't do anything to that brother of yours. Everything that he did, you did the same. You were one of them playboys. Had lots of married women on your list. You ain't know no better. Your reputation preceded you everywhere. And it's going to precede you the same way when you go down there and follow your mama in that vault there. In Westminster. My people, I love you so much. I'm going to talk to y'all again in a few more days. Please subscribe to Isabella Back's channel. Also go to my brother Baron there. Please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button anytime you go to Isabella Back's channel or anytime you see her post on here on my page, so we could get the sister to those 10,000 subscribers, guys. Remember, she has a mission. Okay, I love you, and you take care. Bye for now.